Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Future Net Zero Insight with me, Kieran Bose, and this week's EV and Charging Week on the website. And what that means is we're going to be showcasing different ways that people are championing electric cars, infrastructure, and everything to do with charging. And I'm delighted to say that now we're joined by Asher Moses, who is the CEO of Sherbet. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Excellent.
So, just for people that don't know, can you explain a bit about who you are? Because I've seen you used to drive black cabs around London, and now you're sort of taking the electric route. So, do you mind explaining a bit about that?
Yes, I did do the knowledge many moons ago in 1989, and I became a licensed London green badge driver, which works the City and West End of London. I've been in the taxi trade for many, many years, really embracing new opportunities, looking at technology, looking at EV, how things are changing. And 10 years ago, I set up Sherbet Dab, which is Cockney rhyming slang for cab.
No.
Today we live in a brand awareness world where people call taxis. They don't call, they're people call brands, not taxis. And today you can get a low-cost brand or a premium brand like Sherbet, which is the real thing.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love the play on Cockney rhyming slang as well, sticking to the London roots. So could you explain why you decided to set this up? You know, being an ex-cabbie, what made you think, you know what, I don't know, do you still drive the cabs, or have you kind of taken a step back and sort of what made you make the change and set something up like this?
I've always been an entrepreneur in business, building different solutions for the taxi world. We introduced taxi advertising many years ago. We installed credit cards in the vehicles. And I've always been at the forefront of looking, where would this licensed London taxi trade be in the future? How can we future-proof the licensed London taxi trade? And one of the key things that we've done to future-proof licensed London taxis is embrace the mayor's strategy to go electric as fast as possible. And today, Sherbet has got 350 electric vehicles, but there's actually nearly 6,000 electric vehicles on the road today. And the electric taxi drivers, companies like ours, Sherbet, the electric taxi company, and my colleagues and other drivers, electric drivers, have invested over £300 million in the mayor's strategy to go green. And it's been a very challenging, should we say, ground to be in, but it's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, I completely understand. And what sort of drove the decision to change to electric cars? Are all of your cars electric? And why do you think it's important, other than obviously sort of keeping up with trends and making sure you're on top of that?
Well, once we understood that the mayor was going down the decommissioning route, we embarked on an aggressive decommissioning of our diesels and started to invest in electric pre-COVID. We were the first investors in electric taxis, and it's the best things that we've done. It's not only the electric taxis alone. A taxi is so much different today. It sits in the world of mobility, as you know, and we've got to understand that we got to change the old way of working and find new ways, embrace technology, innovate, work with our competitors in order to make sure we're future-proofing London taxis.
And I'm guessing from your accent and having taken the knowledge, are you a Londoner yourself?
I'm a Hackney boy through and through.
There we go.
You can have a little bit of it, but truthfully, yeah, I'm a Londoner through and through, love London, breathe London, and Sherbet is London's taxi solution because, you know, it's the real thing. It's been around 350 years. It's a purpose-built vehicle. Today we've got a purpose-built electric taxi and the drivers are just amazing. They're recognized all over the world. And there isn't a city in the world that wouldn't give their right arm to have the licensed London electric taxi and its drivers to serve their city.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say, being a Londoner yourself, I'm a Londoner. I love the city as well. But one thing that you can always kind of tell and feel sometimes when you are going through parts of London is the air pollution. And you can definitely see, especially, it's obviously got a bit better now in central London with the ULEZ, but, you know, around London, there is sort of thick air pollution. So Do you think this is a really good way of sort of combating that and sort of cleaning the city's air up?
Without doubt, it's an easy win for the Mayor of London. It's an easy win for London and Londoners. The market's small with taxis. There's 20,000 licensed taxi drivers and currently 15,000 vehicles. There's a shortage of vehicles. But that's because we want to decommission faster and we want to take on more electric. So really and truly, without that, there's a lot of pollution in London. But once you sit in an electric taxi, even for the driver, his perception, his lifestyle, everything changes for the driver and the passengers. We've got passengers who will walk past the diesel and jump into electric. Sherbet are an all-electric taxi supplier. We embrace technology. We ask companies who have corporate social responsibility to go green, to think about their travel. How do you get around in London? Well, you can do it in green, clean, safe, traditional, licensed London taxis who are leading the revolution, the evolution. We're not sitting back, we're actually moving forward.
We've seen as well with investment throughout the city, there is luckily in London a lot of availability for charging infrastructure. And given that taxis are normally journeys in short bursts around the city, does that mean that there's really no excuse to go electric? Because, I guess up the country and around other places, there is that feeling of we'd love to do that, but the infrastructure just isn't there yet. But given it's the capital, we've got that investment. Do you really see it as there's no excuse for London to really adopt this all over?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, the Mayor embarked on a strategy. Again, he asked licensed London taxi drivers like ourselves. He didn't ask, he told us, we're going green and you've got to change your taxis by X date. We've done that and we're doing that. And this is the point of the campaign that we're running today. Other companies who keep promising London, keep promising our politicians that they're going to lead the way to change. And by 2025, we'll go green. Well, the truth is, London electric taxi drivers are doing it today. Why aren't you in love with them? Why aren't you supporting them? Why are we have to go and associate London and Londoners with brands that potentially, hasn't stuck to the record, hasn't played the game in a fair way? You should be working with electric taxis, electric taxi drivers, supporting your mission, Mr. Mayor, and we can deliver it for you faster.
I think that really leads on to kind of one of my last points, which is, what are your hopes for this? And where are you sort of looking for this to go? And are you optimistic?
I am optimistic. Licensed London taxis, electric taxis, will always evolve, will always be part of London's transport network. The question is, we have to move forward with the times, which we're doing today. We're leading the way in the electric charge. We are the forefront runners, myself, Sherbet, the electric taxi company, and my colleagues who have invested hundreds of £1 million, and electric taxi drivers who have gone out the way and committed to a £70,000 vehicle strategy. These are the people who are investing in the change. So yes, it will be around. Yes, we have challenges in front of us, but the taxi trade have always been resilient, and now there's a renaissance. People love taxis. You can see the Mexican wave in London today. Welcome back. And that is because we've embraced electric, because there is a shortage of taxis on the ground, which again, the mayor has to start to look at, because it's not fair blaming taxi drivers for not picking up passengers when there's not enough taxis and you can't decommission to go green and passengers want to get into electric. It's a great solution for this city and low-hanging fruit to invest in electric taxis.
Well, I think that really caps off everything that we wanted to cover. And thanks so much for coming on and sharing that with us.
My pleasure. Any chance of the recording?